Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum and I'm here today at the James D. Julia Auction House up in Maine, taking a look at some of the guns they're going to be selling in their upcoming spring of 2018 firearms auction. Today, we have kind of a mystery gun. This is, well, the design comes from one place and the manufacturing comes from another, and how the two came together, I'm really not sure. This is a Norton, it's called a Norton DP-75 pistol. But the design is actually copied from the Mauser HSP. Now, in the mid-1970s, the West German police put out a tender request for a new service pistol. And they wanted something that could be carried safely, but fired without having to go through, any safety levers or other potentially complex devices. Naturally, this brings to mind something like double action, and Mauser developed a pistol like that, with a decocker that they submitted to these trials. Now, they were in competition with Walther and HK, and I think a couple of other companies as well, and ultimately they didn't get chosen. And by the early 1980s, they decided to just scrap this project. It wasn't making any headway, and the Mauser company wanted to focus on some other projects. So not more than maybe a couple hundred of these HSPs were ever made, maybe as few as 20, just for testing, and it never went anywhere. In fact, I should point out the winner of that trial, or of that request for a pistol, was the HK P7, arguably one of the best police service pistols ever developed, and an excellent one for carried loaded and easy to disengage all of the automatic safeties, but very difficult to fire inadvertently. Anyway, the design for the Mauser HSP is what this pistol uses. Now, this was manufactured by the Norton Armaments Company in Michigan. They are best known for their affiliation with a gunsmith by the name of Edgar Bukowski, who is the designer of the Corofila pistol, which is kind of an interesting single roller locked, very high-end Target 45, also available in some other calibers. But the question here is, how did that company end up making a version of Mauser's failed police service pistol? And what makes this a little bit more interesting is that this gun there's like no steel on this gun whatsoever, except for the recoil springs. And the barrel is actually made of titanium. Let me show you. Not having any steel makes this thing really extraordinarily light. And what we have here is a 9mm pistol. Not a whole lot of detail in the markings there. Its serial number is EXP2. And we have this marking on the barrel, 9mm parabellum, titanium. It is a single stack design. Got a very light magazine here. Holds 8 rounds, and then disassembly is super easy. Flip that lever down, pull the slide off the front. We can see down there into the firing mechanism. This is a simple double action, single action with a decocker right here. So if I have that cocked, drop that down, and it decocks the hammer. That would have been the safety mechanism for the German police. Then inside the slide, we have a barrel and locking wedge assembly. So this is a short recoil design, but not a Browning style of locking system. What happens is this wedge is locked into the slide there. The slide reciprocates when you fire, and this point hits a wedge, or hits a block in the frame right there, that gold straw colored piece. That forces this piece to pivot down, which, well, it doesn't go that far, which unlocks it from the slide, stops the barrel, and allows the slide to continue cycling to eject the empty case, and then recoil springs push it forward, and when it comes all the way up to the front, it gets pushed back into engagement with the slide. Now, interestingly, this pistol comes with 2 barrels. It has the titanium barrel here, and then it has a much lighter weight barrel, which I am assuming is made of aluminum, also because it's marked 7075 T6, which is a specific aluminum alloy and hardness. And it's marked 9mm NiClad, which is a little bit odd. So first off, I would be pretty nervous about firing 9 parabellum in an aluminum barrel this size. The reason for NiClad, if I had to guess, and in fact I do have to guess, would be NiClad bullets were basically your typical lead full pressure hollow point cartridges, but they were given a nylon surface coating. And I suspect this references the fact that you don't want to shoot a copper or steel jacketed bullet through an barrel with aluminum rifling. In theory, that nylon nylon coating on the nyclad bullets would have made it less likely to just shred the rifling when you fired. But I'd still be concerned about pressure. Otherwise, there aren't any other really exotic elements to this pistol. Got your sights right there, dot on top of a post style. The firing pin, the extractor, the ejector, those are all fairly typical elements here. And the same goes for the frame. It's in gorgeous condition. I will point out not even the screws are steel, or at least they're not magnetic. The only steel elements in here are the two recoil springs in the sides of the slide. Just to make this a little more interesting, this is actually being sold along with a miniature version of the exact same pistol. That miniature was manufactured by a guy by the name of Raymond Hutchens, who is an extraordinarily talented machinist and maker of miniature firearms. And what's really remarkable about this is that this miniature is a fully functional pistol. So if I take the magazine out, right there, it's chambered in 4.25 millimeter, and I can unlock it like that and disassemble it just like the full-size gun. That barrel is even rifled. And just look at the attention to detail in there. I mean, this whole thing works. The firing mechanism works. The decocker works. It is a fully functional miniature scale version of the full-size pistol. The only thing changed on there is that it has the caliber 4.5 instead of caliber 9. Now, these weren't manufactured at the same time. Clearly, at one point, the owner of this Norton pistol hooked up with Mr. Hutchens and commissioned him to make a miniature version of the Norton. Put that back together like so. Dang, that's just remarkable. And by the way, each of them comes with a spare magazine. Got a spare mag here in addition to the one in the gun. Well, if you know anything more about these pistols, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. And of course, if you'd like to have this pair of really cool developmental experimental pistols, the one real and the one miniaturized, also take a look at the description text below. That catalog page will have their pictures, their description, their value estimate, and everything else you would need to know about the guns. Place a bid online or come participate in the auction live. Thanks for watching.